Welcome back to VIP Podcast with Giovanna
and Patty.
So welcome back all our listeners, whether you're hearing us on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, or you're watching us on YouTube. And yes, we still have some Facebook out there. We've got to reach all crowds, guys.
That's right.
So we are excited again. We say again, so you know that's something that's already happened.
It's like, ooh. No, just kidding.
But I before we open up, I've been wanting to say this. Like, we just getting legit here. Like, yeah. We just got to show up some stuff right here. What is this? What is this? Can we get close in here?
What is it?
Ooh, VIP podcast coasters. We're legit.
I know you want one. You want one.
And we are excited because we learned it from here. So we learned from some good people.
Yes.
So good. And we got stickers, guys. So excited. So, and if you are a VIP guest, you're going to get one coaster and a sticker.
What?
Excited. But anyway, I'm
Where's
getting
my
off
sticker?
track. I'm excited. You have stickers.
Where? I don't.
Okay, I'll give you one after.
Okay.
I forgot to share, guys. So I'm excited because I don't know if you guys haven't watched one of our first episode long time ago, because we're just rolling deep now. We had Jose, that I call Hoser. We got him back in the house.
Let's go, boy.
Welcome
I'm
back.
glad I'm on again, and I literally just say, no, we're shooting a part 2.
Yes,
Your boy's
he did.
stewing right now.
I was like, a simmer,
We're like, okay.
simmer
I'm
I'm
down.
fired up.
God.
I was like, bitch! In front of my life! Say in front of my friends!
Yeah. We were trying to
I'm
get
that
that
guy.
out. Really
I'm that
out.
guy. All right, I'm done, you guys. That's all I wanted
That's
to
all you wanted
say.
to say. You just had to get it out.
No, I'm serious. I'm glad you guys are rolling with this, because honestly, I'm feeling like because we're content creators. You guys are constantly you're preparing podcasts. So yes, you shoot 3, 4, 5 in a day, and guess what? Your boy got fired up. You guys just had the wifey on 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I've watched your content. Obviously, we shot it, but I rewatch it. I really do. Because one thing I love, again, I think where I'm personally growing is I love to help people now. I was very selfish. It's about me.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I'm not perfect. Like everyone thinks.
I know. I
and wants me to be.
I don't want to see
Wow.
this.
Come on,
Wow.
But the thing is like to see your growth and how like serious you guys are really taking it. It's growing. Your audience is on that steady growth, because your videos right out the gate get good amount of views. So I'm paying attention. I'm spreading the word about you guys too.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
that
you.
shout
Yeah.
out you did
Yeah.
for us. Yeah.
You guys are my boys, or well, that's how I talk.
Yeah.
Y'all my friends. Sisters.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. I loved our last conversation. I've watched that podcast 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I kid you not.
Yeah.
Only because remember I was like, man, I'm just kind of nervous about it. You're like, do you want to reshoot? Remember?
Yes, and we were kind of nervous too. We were like,
You're like, he cussed too much.
cussed too much.
I'm all,
Like,
whoa. Like,
should
do
we put it?
Do we do it? No.
Do we do it? Do we
I
not?
don't know. Maybe
and
not.
So what I did was I just put us out there in social media, like,
Come on. I know. I saw that.
yeah. I was just
Instagram
like,
right
I'm
away.
like,
I was
we
like-
ready for you is what that song. We ready
That's right.
for
We
you. For
ready.
all
And you
the-
put, we ready. We ready. That's what I love podcasting. I
Yeah.
love talking, man. And obviously, you guys hadn't guessed that.
Yeah.
Follow me at Still Here Podcast,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, MySpace.
Yeah. MySpace.
Apple Podcast, Spotify. But yes, again, I want to say thank you guys. Congratulations that you guys are, really stepping into this. And again, to get back to my wife's podcast and
Yes.
mine, I'm a type of guy that likes to know where, all right, dude, you're an idiot. Really.
Yeah.
Really, because I'm very aware now. I think one of my problems growing up was I wasn't self-aware as a person, as a human, as a man. My insecurities were put on me and on myself because I didn't know how to think. I didn't know how to approach things. And watching my podcast, I was very nervous, but I was like, it's actually really good.
It was.
You know?
We got a lot of feedback. I got feedback from people that
Not I was good, but like the whole conversation.
conversation
like
flowed
I was
really
very
good.
I wasn't extreme as
I
per
thought,
usual.
right?
Per
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah, per usual. And
I was like,
Yeah, I know. That's what I was kind of nervous because again, I feel cringy.
Yeah.
You know, after a while, even when I make mistakes, it's just hard for like most humans.
Yeah.
Man, we really get down
Yeah.
on ourselves and we get real cringe about it. It's like, man, why did I do that? Why did I do that?
Why did I say that?
Why did I? You know, it's
Yeah.
like, but then you just keep beating yourself down. Then you
Right,
live
right.
defeated.
Right.
You're not even knowing you do that. And if sometimes people think, that's just normal. That's just how I am. That's just where I've been. And for you guys, you know, to release that again, I was nervous, but then it's like, why? You know, we're talking our real experiences. We had conversations before shooting this. It's like, why are we not going to talk about what really happened to us in the past or our experiences, whether we're trying to keep an integrity of a person, family member, pastor, but yet
Wow.
that's holding us back.
Right.
Talk about it. You know,
Right.
speak about it because only hurting yourself and maybe that person or something is doing the same thing to others. It's like, now how do you approach it? What do I wish I
Right.
could have done? Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
That's
You know,
so good. That's so true.
Yeah. I mean, because really this is our experience. And it's, nobody could say that you didn't go through it. I mean, they could try, right? Like, oh, that's not real, but it's real to us. You know, what we experienced and, you know, the whole what if, like I should have, because in reality, you know, if we let that perpetuate, something's happening and we tell our story
Yeah.
and maybe there's a halt now. There's a stopping that someone else won't get hurt the same way.
You speak on it, you know,
Right.
and I think coming from our experience, you know, churches, everyone's, I'm over church hurt. You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's where God will release me from big time. I would say the past few months, really, since that pod, since, you know, still here and actually talking about it and really, you know, I've really matured, even though it doesn't seem like it, you know, because I am the way I am. You know, I love having fun. I love just being this, you know, because that's the only way I know how to be. You know, like you said in your pods, like, you've known me, we were always this way.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think now, man, I love podcasting, man, because again, we never had this type of platform just to really be and
Right.
talk, you know. So now this gives opportunity, you know,
Well,
that
you know what I like too
speak on it.
is that, you know, and we're females. You
Oh,
know,
I didn't know
getting
that.
these. Yeah, you didn't know that. I know. I
No,
like
he
come
said
across
no,
Oh, you
bro.
strong
identify
and
as a
stuff.
female? I didn't know. Is that a thing now?
We come across strong, but I think it's really even just to be able to have this part of it, as far as both, you know, working together as men and women, and us being able to be a part of a podcast as women. I love that. But I love that this platform, some people will never, ever have the courage to say what happened to them or what they're really feeling in their mind. Okay,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just got bullied from someone that's their spiritual leader or their boss or their parents, and they have nowhere to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then they question themselves, like, was it me? Was
Yeah.
it me? Did I cause that?
Yeah.
Did I do this? But, you know, we're going to be here to be able to share some stuff that is real and raw and hurtful and, you know, stuff that we did. Like you said, now we're maturing, or things that we didn't know we hurt people or they hurt us. And they can sit there and listen like, yeah, that's actually what I feel and what I'm going through, but I can't speak it.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with fear, and I think there's
Yeah.
there's several, I would say, levels to that. You know, yeah, you have a right to speak about it, but again, when somebody is a hothead and it's like, you know, I just want to blurt things out, man, they're not going to take that same message right.
That's good.
So there's got to be a
Yeah.
growth first. You got to grow
Right.
from what hurt you, even though what hurt you happened does not mean that's who you are. But we get stuck in that, and so I think that's what I thought my hurt was me. You know, and I really did think that. I mean, why am I always a mess up? Why is it I'm always in a dang meeting? Why am I? Someone's like, dude, hey, I need. You know, it's like someone calls me, Jose. I was like, what's up, man? We need to talk. And I get this guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what did I do?
Right.
What did I do? You know, or what did I say?
What?
You know, then I go and it's something. And it's always, I live defeated. I didn't know it. But yet, again, like our last one, we're pastors or preaching, we're teaching,
Yeah.
but yet we still live like this, you know. And I think to understand that hurt and to talk about it, you got to understand why it hurt you and not allow God to heal you, because you never heal for something you never want to let go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we hold it because we think that's who we are, because that's all we knew. And I think that was my No, I don't think, but that was my problem, you know. Because again, this is when you shot the pod with my wife, I got stewed up. This is what I'm stewed up about.
Tell us.
You know, and y'all going to hell. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you're not. You're not. I pray you're not. You know, but the thing is,
well, I don't know.
I will. No, that's not my call. That's between you and God. But call him. He'll answer.
I know.
But that's the thing. You know, when we talk about our church hurt and hurt, and we speak from hurt, we don't speak from healing. Ooh, your boy is reaching up and right. Isn't that real?
Love offering.
We speak from hurt, and sometimes that's when it becomes, that's my truth. That's my truth. Nobody can tell me. Man, you're speaking from hurt
still. Mm-hmm.
Speak from the healing. Speak from the understanding of why it happened. It's not your fault. You got to grow in that, but allow God to heal it and grow it out. It's like when you have weeds in your lawn. You don't just rip the weed out. You just go up there and you got to dig deep into that soil, that dirt, and just pull the root out slowly. When then you get all those strands. I am about to bring my robo up in here.
I'm about to take a love offering. It's so good.
But again, then you got to rip the root out.
Right.
Then there are, and that's what's crazy is that I don't like doing labor lawn, but I do know that
but I've seen it.
I've seen it happen, but the thing is, when you rip it out, there's still residue of root.
Yep. Those remnants. The residue.
And man, TDJ, you better not steal my shit. No. Michael Todd, you clown. But
that's his story and his feelings.
Yeah. I'm in my feels.
I love Mike Todd.
Yeah.
Mike Todd.
But the thing is,
TDJ.
I know, but the thing is, that's again, that comes from a hurt experience, That's how you heal.
Yeah.
Don't speak from your hurt, man, because then you get anger. You bring back the bitterness. All those feelings keep flooding back. Yeah. And that's what you're releasing out. When you're speaking from a place of healing, oh my God, Lord, thank you. When you're speaking from a place of healing, then you can help, know. Because again, you only hurt people, not to hurt people. Love people, not to love people. But when you embrace that, I don't want to say embrace what happened to you, but embrace the fact that it did happen to you to show you how not to be to others.
I've talked about that.
So and I think that's where my growth has happened. And I'm starting to see it.
That's good.
Again, that's why when my wife was on here, when you had her on, I kept looking within. Oh, wow. That's all I kept. That's all I can ever do now. Because we've done all this.
Yep.
My mentors, like Jose, one of the guys I love to the day I die, man. He says, you can point fingers, man, but there's always three more. Old school farmer guy.
Yeah.
And man, that changed my life. And I think now, with my podcast and with the, people I want to connect with, it's just a constant growth of encouragement. And I'm speaking from healing. And I think if people can sense that healing, they're like, I want what he has. And how'd you get healed? Well, may or may not be your thing, man, but I allowed God to heal me. Whether you believe him or not, it's not an experience of religion, a pastor, a church, or a building.
Good.
Experience him.
Right.
Because when you experience him, all this other stuff will come.
That's
the
good.
Bible, the Holy Spirit, the prayer, the worship.
Yeah. All of it.
Because it's a denying. Because you got to heal from the hurt.
Right.
Until you heal from that, you'll never experience the real healing. So I don't know. That's why I feel like I'm stewed.
Yeah. Well, when you heard her, when we had her on here and she's talking, so there's stuff that you're hearing even about yourself.
I hear it all the time.
Like how do you feel about that? So it's always even that place where we don't realize that sometimes we, like you said, hurt people, right? And I know it sounds so cliche, like hurt people, but
I'm here to rebrand it and renew it. I'm gonna get it past the cliche.
Yeah.
Everything that we think is cliche, I'm here to
bring
new
it back.
life to it. Because the only reason why I know, to answer your question too, is we live in a world of cliche. Every social media influence, everybody's saying the same thing. Every pastor's preaching the same thing. Everyone's doing the same thing. And I feel like the disconnect is only because we're so inundated with it until they actually feel it and see it from somebody who's come from it.
Oh, yeah.
Cliche becomes the real realities when you see somebody who's been through it. Because I'm not going to take no message. I'll be real. Now, I'm not going to take no message from a PK that mommy and daddy gave them everything. Because did you really experience it? Because if anything, if you have, it's self-inflicted because you're a PK. I'm not trying to call that out. But what I'm trying to say is that when it comes down to it, when she was talking, as a man of the house, because we talk about man and a priest, you know, all that stuff, provider, protector. Huge responsibility. You can be the masculine, what people think the masculinity is, but if you can't be the right man to turn the mirror around and say, "Nah, dude, you're an ass."
Wow, that's good.
You know, even though you know you're wrong, even though you know you're right, you know, and I think I've learned that because she was right because she saw the hurt in me, what happened to me, and I never knew it.
Wow, that was pretty deep when she said that.
When she told me that, like a light turned on. But it wasn't like ding right here.
No, yeah.
The light was like way down at the tunnel.
Wow.
You know, I'm like, that's what she meant, but I'm still in darkness. So I had to make the choice as a man to say, you know, I got to push to that light.
Wow.
I've lived in this darkness this whole life, this cloud, this generational curse, this thing that was put on me when I was young, you know, the mistakes of my father. And I think that's what we don't know as men we do. You know, and I look back at too when she was talking, you know, it's like everyone was like, how do you put up with him? You know, I love her answers most of the time. She's like, no, that's not like, how do I put up with him? You know, it's like, oh, we're with each other today, every day. Oh, you must get tired. No, we don't.
Yeah. I love that.
Again, it's the same cliche.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're renewing that. It's like, no, we're with each other every day. If we're far from each other, it's like, it's different.
Wow.
You know, and it's like there had to be a maturity in her and in myself because you heard her. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I knew what my parents did, and they weren't parents because they were homework. They were working. They were parents, but they weren't.
Right.
She was a latchkey kid. Got home, latched that door, and that was it. But she had to learn now. I want to be present. You know, and I think as men we don't get present. And I'll talk about the wall.
Yeah.
What we experienced, you know, and it wasn't the support I got from her as what I felt.
Right.
You know, and it came to her family, and it came to like she didn't get my back, boy. You know, even though I was wrong, even though you know my sister-in-law's in my face, I need my woman to go beat her ass. You know, anybody.
Yeah.
Dude, you talk like my man like that. You know, you know, it's like I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And I'll be real, I'll keep it 100 because we talked about this, and there were other women that were communicating with me because look at the platform I'm on, look at look what I'm doing, look at the creativity. Everyone loves that attention. So when you think. The society we live in, if you feel like you're not like this high value person, you know, it attracts attention, you know, and they think they want that, you know, they think, well, he must be a good person. You know, I'm not, you know, and I talked to my friend Juan. We talked about when we'll go out, just have a beer. And he's like, dude, look at all these chicks looking at you. I was like, I don't give a damn. He's like, you know why they're looking at you? I was like, it's because I'm married. You know, so the reality is like when that wall was put up, I was getting tempted to.
Wow.
Never did.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I got a text message and she read my text. You know, I was like, if I was trying to hide something from you, I would have deleted it. I'm not that man. You know, I'm not a DM guy. I don't slide in DMs, but you know. So we went through that process, and that was the wall because I thought, she didn't have my back, but I had to communicate that. I had to get to that vulnerable, like, you didn't get my back.
Right, which really stems from childhood, though, right?
Yeah, and that's the abandonment I've always had.
Right.
You know, so if I'm gonna act out or I'm gonna react out, it's gonna be big. You know, and everyone's gonna know about it. And then, you know, again, this all stems from because remember the first time you're like, "What's your victory in?" I said, I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you guys are you guys confirm like, no, you actually have victory, boy.
Yeah, victory, boy. Let us help you see.
Yes.
You know, but that's what's so dope about like these platforms, you know, because I want to talk. I've been wanting to talk, and I'm actually, you know, Lodo and Phil hit me up. They were like, you know, we want to get you on the podcast.
That's so cool.
You know, I want to start telling this side of the healing part. Everyone talks about church hurt, man. Everyone talks about family hurt. You know, self-hurt. But now I want to talk about healing from that. Because I believe God has healed me.
And that's the part that even talking about, like, well, how did that happen? What did you do? And it's really to see and be aware that the lenses that I've been looking through, you know, I see it like this, like we project out what's going inside of us.
Yeah.
Right. So our life is, you know, the world and our life is a big screen and we're the projectors, and whatever we project out is really what's going on inside.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that the things that happen in our lives weren't real, that we didn't experience the hurt, but why it hurt even so much deeper was because there was still some unresolved hurt and things that we never even knew how to walk through it. Right.
Real.
So we give our lives to Jesus and we get excited. I know for myself, I mean, I had a radical encounter with Jesus, and it switched from this brokenness, needing love and give me love, love, love here in the world without Jesus, giving my life to Jesus, but this was still never healed. And I just mask it with, now I'm really getting church hurt. And, you know, now I'm having like, man, you know, love me, mom. And then I'm looking to the first lady and these people like, love me. What's wrong with me? Oh no, you had a child out of wedlock. You're still, so I'm still facing rejection. You're unworthy. You're no good. And it's really that it's not even on everybody else.
Yeah.
But it hurt me so deep because that was my reality. And you're confirming.
Yeah.
You're confirming to me that really.
No, they're only reaffirming the mistake. They're only reaffirming what you feel like
what
you got
I felt
healed.
like.
Right.
You know, God delivered me, but now it's a stigma. You know, again, that's a double standard.
Right?
These in our experiences, you know, has happened. You know, and I think when again, I only want to speak from experience, and I think the reason why, because I've visited a couple of churches, and you know these individuals, I never want to assume that they know me or they're intimidated by me, but I just, you know, when a man goes with another man, you can sense intimidation. You know, I've been intimidated by a bunch of men. I'm not gonna lie, you know, but I know my calling. I know who I am in God. I really do. You know, and I know how I walk and talk. I know how I can start being who God's called me to be, because I never, I knew the opposite.
Yeah.
So once you finally know the like,
Wow, that's
I
good.
can do that.
Wow.
I haven't been doing this for a long time, but now God's built me for this, you know, and it's like I had to go through that, you know. Again, I'm not going to follow anybody in the Army, Marines, if I was ever in one, somebody with a clean uniform.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go with somebody has
Been
a
tried.
few,
But
a few.
that's the word. Tried.
Yeah, who's done it.
Right.
You know, and again, that's my approach in church and life and people, man. And now it's just, when I get around people, it's like, I know I'm not a part of your guys' group. I'm not on that level no more, because I'm not better than you. I'm different. And now and that's what God's called us to be, man, is separate. And people will see it. They want to be around it. And I think when I go to churches and these pastors start seeing my work, and I start seeing this podcast is getting very aware. It's like, no, he's actually, no one can tell him, no one can touch him, because he knows, you know, it's different. You know, I'm not speaking on a pulpit from behind the title. I'm speaking on this platform to you, you know, and I think you guys bring that, you know, when I've watched when we've shot it and I've rewatched them, it's different. Again, I'm not going to throw church out.
Right.
We need it. It's a perk. Like I said last time, that still stands, man.
Yeah.
But what impact you want to be in life, man, is what's important. You know, because if you're not doing nothing, man, just because you have a Christian business or you go to a job and you're, you know, or you go to church, and it's like, that does not mean you're going to heaven.
Right.
You know, and my fear is like, when I stand before God, you know, I didn't know you. Well, depart from me. And it's like, well, I thought I knew you.
Right.
We didn't. I know him by connecting with people that are hurt, that are lost. Again, I said it before, and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
I'm not here to reach church people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not. Y'all should know.
Yeah.
Paul, what did he say, man?
Yeah.
You guys
You're still drinking milk when you
Yeah.
should already be eating. Like,
man, you got a tomahawk steak.
Why
you
do
know?
we got to keep convincing you to stay saved and get right, and stop doing this when we need to go out as the Great Commission and go out and get those that are truly have misconception of who God is. They feel lonely, they feel rejected, they're suicidal thoughts, they're being lied and deceived, and who's taking the time reaching them when we're so busy trying to keep the church even together? And I'm not one that doesn't believe in church. I go to an amazing one, like, but it's the same thing. Like, we had to tell each other too, like, okay, you know, what happens when we get backlash? What happens when people say, oh, you're not doing it right, or you don't have all these different things that we won't even repeat, but we have to know what God called us to do. And when we had your wife on here, one thing she said is how to just stop and listen to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Because, and we in a few episodes, if you go watch all our episodes, you'll hear on there, like, not everybody's the same. Not everybody's calling's going to be the same. Not everybody's personality's the same.
Right.
Like, just even, I think of if you were called and this is what God has called you to do, and it's to preach the word like this, then that's what you do. Be true to what God called you to do. Because in that, people are going to get saved and people are going to know who God really is. But if you're trying to fake the funk and you're trying to look and be what someone else is saying to be just for the part of their acceptance,
right?
Then you're missing it out.
Yeah. No,
like you're
real.
missing, like, most people are not going to agree with what we're doing, but honestly, we said, like, I want this to be as real as it can be,
right?
Because I know we are called for the brokenhearted and those that are crushed in spirit. That's whether you're sitting in the pew or you're behind the pulpit or you're sitting in the corner on Skid Row, like that. That's who we're called for.
You know why? It's because you've been hurt, you've been broken,
right?
And I think that's what makes it so beautiful, is because, we can never, I will never ever speak from a mentality of like, now I'm better than you.
Right.
I live, like we said, we lived off one income, and there's a reason why. I do believe, because I knew back in the day before marriage, I was making decent money, not the right way, but it's like I lived a lifestyle and it only flaunted me, and I was like that. And so now.
Were you raised in church?
Oh, heck yeah. I was the biggest fake. So how can a fake call out fakes? It's like I had to grow from it. I had to learn from it. I had to understand I'm fake. Everybody, I'm fake. I'm willing to admit it. If you won't, like, again, Scarface, one of my favorite movies on earth, talking about, he's the bad guy. You can sit there and point your little good finger at me, but I'm the bad guy. You're not good. You just know how to hide.
Wow.
He says, so go ahead. Say I'm a bad guy. You're not good. That's me now. I really feel like that. I don't know. I can't hide. It's very blatant.
Right.
And like when she caught me with that text, I was like, I didn't lie. Most men would have doubled down and then fights. Splitting up. I was like, look, if I wanted to hide it, I would have deleted it, but I didn't. Because I got.
You still didn't freely share with her at first.
No, I never did until that. It's not like I was hiding anything. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It's just it took that one time, and like she said, the devil just lies and just takes it deep. She's already like in scenarios where it's like, oh, when I see this, because they already did this. If he's saying, if he's texting like this, then
it's already happened.
Yeah, and to me as a man, I failed that part. I failed, and I let the flesh, I let my weakness, I let my humanity as a man take over, not really walk in the spirit. If you walk in the spirit, you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. And I think that's where God has me. I'm not walking in the spirit as I should still, but I know I see a growth, man. I feel, and Lodo's, like I talked to Lodo.
Low bless.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, brother Lodo.
Yeah. He's like, man, you just sound different, Jose. He's like, you sound different. I was like, I am, man. And I'm actually accepting that part of my life now. I was actually worried because I'm so used to chaos. I'm so used to like,
wow,
why is it so good right now? Something's gonna come around the corner,
Ready,
yeah, let's go. And if anything, I'd actually go look for it, And so, again, that's the hurt always keeps you paranoid, because you think it's you, and God's here to tell you it's not.
Yeah,
God's here to tell you I got more, and I think. I'm dumb enough to believe it. I really am.
Yeah.
I'm dumb enough to believe God says that.
And
that's where I'm stepping into it now. So, I can do this. Well, all right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I can heal that person. Well, all right, well, let's do that. Start stepping in. Then the whole time, it's like, this whole time,
right?
like, devil, you've lied to God.
Wow. To you.
Yeah, and to God's people.
Yep.
Right.
And it's like, man, it's like we live defeated. It's like, it doesn't change the fact that reality hurts. It doesn't change like the pain hurts, the divorce hurts, the lying, all that stuff hurts. But man, I'm never saying that everything I've gone through, I'm still perfect at it, man, I still have fear. I still have doubt. I still have that. But I think now I have enough. It's like, all right, God, if you got me through that, I'm in this for a season. I live my life in seasons. One of my pastors the only pastor I call pastor, Pastor Lewis, he's like, man, I live my life in seasons. They come, they go, and then whatever God has at that moment, take it for what it is, even in the hard times, And I think, again, what I love about the VIP is victory in patience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are in a season right now, man. Again, that's why I love podcasts. That's why I'm like, Jose, it's like 10. It's gonna be 10 o'clock. I worked all day. I see my kids. But this is what we do. And I want to keep being like this. Still here, podcast is a beautiful thing for me because it legit resonates.
And I even love, even from the last time, that you're not just sitting here saying, you get to stay in your pain, stay in, like, we have the right because we've been hurt. So we've been church hurt. So we go out and say, even if it's not church hurt, it's hurt with just in life, right?
Yeah.
But to say, it's not okay to stay there either, because really it just eats ourselves up.
Yeah.
We're the one that hurts. We're the one that we want to help others, but then we're bleeding on them because we haven't been completely healed take it back, right? So I'm like, I'm never going to do that because we know what not to do. But then you never stopped and reflect on yourself. Then you're just passing that
residue.
Yeah.
That's good,
Boy, I got
right?
bars, bro.
Residue, and it just stays there. And so now what comes out, you're like, I'm healed, and I just pulled out the weeds, the crap, and everything that people spoken over me or hurt me. But really, this residue stayed, so it naturally will come out with that. And I know that there's places that you can measure yourself in your life, and I feel like that's why we still go through certain things, or we get put in front of people that you're just like, how do I ever measure that I'm healed? I'm not healed yet. Wait, hold on.
Let me heal you. God's called me to heal that black guy.
I'm all Smith's words.
Oh, yeah.
God, his anointing be socking people.
I'm going to anoint my knuckles
right now.
Come here.
And then I'm like, it's still not healed. We'll come back and revisit that. You might get socked by me a few times, but but be able to really face and see, okay, was never even the person. It's what the enemy even wanted me to believe about myself and where me to stay.
Right.
Right. So if we're aware of that.
It really means that we got to go deep, because sometimes we just want to go surface and we're like, okay, it's fine. They did what, whatever.
Enough.
Yeah. Good enough. But we got to dig deep. Just like you were using like, you don't just pull out that weed from the top.
I'm not going to do that no more.
And we got to dig deep. And it really is, we got to self-reflect, because we're like, oh, well, they did that. They said that. And okay, but why are you still there? Why are we still
giving them that energy?
And so that requires us to dig deep. We got to dig deep and go, okay, what's really going on in here? And then when that happens, we allow God to come into that area.
And I think that's what I love about God, man. He's so patient.
Yeah.
And that
victory
crazy?
in the patient.
And he had my boy got victory. Because his son was getting beat down.
He was just holding back. I know he had patience.
You don't know what? Just go smudge. Oh, y'all. Yeah,
say the bad word.
Yeah, Jesus is like, and what here? And what is he? Father, forgive them.
Yeah.
And you're right. You got to dig deep. And and again, I don't know, man. I just my whole life has flipped, really has, and I can't believe it because I've lived defeated. Raised
in church, in the church, in anointed churches that we would say are evangelistic.
As a pastor,
teaching, and you're still experiencing this. And it reminds me right now, as you guys are talking, it reminds me of what my son-in-law said. He works in ag, and he said this about, when things become contaminated, then like the soil gets contaminated. So now whatever the soil's producing is contaminated. So then they do recalls on vegetables, on cabbage. But before they could even recall, it's already reached 1,100 people, and they're all contaminated with this bad soil. So I'm like, man, I got intrigued. Well, how do you fix that? Do you just shut business down? No, that's money there. And that's not just money. It's the means of living for someone, right? So I asked this question. I said, well, can't you just put bleach on it? Bleach kills everything.
You make it worse.
And he says, actually, you can.
Oh, dang.
You could put bleach in these wells that produce the water that goes
Yeah.
over, right? But really, all you're doing is healing the surface. The root, the bottom is still so contaminated with residue, with junk. And what we do is like, we fix the problem right there. And I look at it with us. We go to different women conference, men's conference. We go to church Monday through Sunday. We're at prayer, Miracle Monday, Healing Tuesday, women. And we're going and we really are just putting like this bleach over us. And we're not allowing God to go deep and heal because we fell out. We cried. Some of us shondoed and we got a little excited. We're like, oh yeah, I must be healed. And then you revisit that again and you see that person or that hurt. And you're like, wait a minute. I'm still like speaking out of this place of hurt. Right. And so we just do a surface cleaning. We do that surface, put that bleach. And we don't want to take the time to say, you know what? They're going to so when that happens, so I asked my son, I'm like, well, then what do? And he was like, you call in the big boys. You call in the expert. Only the expert knows how far down to go, what to clean, and what's contaminated. And that big boy, that expert is Jesus. He's the only, the Holy Spirit. And we sometimes make the Holy Spirit feel like all weird and that he's just shondoing. That's the Holy Spirit is a person. It's not a it. It's our best friend. It's our comforter. He guides us. He teaches us. And in that is where he uproots every contamination of hurt, church hurt, parent, like our parents, not a home without a father or a father in the home, but not home. Not their, like present. All that is what starts, you know, which that to me is, I want to do an episode on that. So you might be a VIP, like on dads.
Part three.
Dads, like what does it look like to be a dad or be in a home from an absent, you know, a dad being absent versus a dad still being there but not there, you know, and that's important.
It is important because again, it all stems from it. Something got planted somewhere.
Wow.
Yep.
That's it. And you might not even know.
Right.
I got things planted in me from my aunties and uncles on the res that I didn't know.
Wow.
Until I became a father, until I became a husband, and I had no idea what was put in me until it started surfacing.
Wow.
You start seeing
these little,
and it's like, what is that? You know, it's like her question is like, what is that, God? You know, when she shined the light down at the end of the tunnel, because I got to go through it, you know, and so now I can recognize things now. I know it's me, you know, and so we've been chilling. We've been really good. It's just, it's not perfect, you know, it's not. But I think what got us to this point is to now, all right, we had to dig deep, and that hurt. Good. That's what hurt, you know. So there's a level pain tolerance that we've gotten from it, and it got past the callus to see like, okay, that's where. Wow. Because like you said, the surface, you know, the callus is like, it's callus, it's good, it's healed. Yeah, no, it's not, man. And so I just think that's where God has me right now. I really do believe it, because now
to be healed correctly.
And completely.
Completely.
And the thing is, like,
wholeness.
We'll be healed from it. And like when my wife told me again, when I died, she's like, you came back. What you put in now is all up to you. You legit have a fresh start. And I put a lot of
legit,
like literally, you know,
literally. Oh my God.
Yeah,
literally.
And again, and I kid you not, I found myself going back to that old mentality.
Well, that's what's familiar.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah,
it's your default.
And so when I recognized that, you know, again, we talk more. We always, conversate. We talk business, but we talk about really we just talk. And it's like, again, like today, good example. She actually today, she past couple of days, she's been driving to Kingsburg shooting video for me.
Wow.
While I'm editing, so she's doing work herself.
That's
so when
awesome.
she's far away, we're still texting each other.
Wow.
And it's like, you know, and the kids are with me. They're like, Dad, when's mom coming home? It's like, you don't do shit. You
got me right now, so deal with it.
But then
they're like, we're going to have to get inner healing now.
Yeah, but the thing is, but they know.
Yeah.
And so when she comes home, it's like we pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
You know? So now I don't know. It's just a constant communications. And I love my pops.
Yeah.
My dad's a dope Oaxacan, man, but there are things that I never learned, he never taught me. You know, there's things that his dad never taught him, and it just got tossed down.
Right.
You know, it's not like he was a bad dad. You know, it's,
he just didn't know.
Yeah, and he just didn't. He didn't care. You know, it's just like, I don't care. I mean, that's how I don't care.
Right.
I had an attitude. I don't care. You know, and it just carried on. And my son constantly still does it, but he always every day, almost 30 times a day. I love you, Dad.
Oh,
Love you, Dad. And I get annoyed
because you're not.
oh, God, you just said that like 10 minutes ago. But the thing is I'm not used to that love. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not. And so to get the unconditional love I get from my kids is I gotta receive that because I never got the full unconditional love. My dad just come here, boy.
Right.
You know, I didn't get that like that
Yeah.
really. You know when you get that deep hug, and you feel the blood rush. It's kind of like stop because you're cutting circulation, but it's like no, it's an embrace protection.
Yeah.
Wow.
I never got that.
Me either. I was like, I don't know. Does that happen?
I know.
You know, and so, but when my son
Yeah.
hugs me, when I hug my son, and when I hug my wife, I hug my kids, I feel the love, and it's like I gotta start accepting that. And I think men don't know how to accept
Yeah,
it.
you know, that's true because we challenge, you know, my dad. My dad's 82 years old. And we started, you know, me and my sister were like, we're going to, you know, let's do this to Dad. So, you know, every moment that we got, love you, Dad. And it was like silence.
My dad too.
And he would just like look at and do like a nod. And then we're like, love you, Dad. Love you, Dad. You know, over and over. And then he started like he was like, oh, I know. And then after that, like we'd continue that. We'd say, love you, Dad. And then we'd hear, I love you too.
Yeah.
You know, it is. I feel you know, that it's hard, you know, when you talk about older generations too, because, you know, there's this false masculinity.
It is too. Yeah.
You know, what this world says masculinity should look like, even what like my father learned from his father or the lack of, you know, it's like, oh man, you just go out and work and then, you know,
You're done.
You're
Yeah.
done. You're done, and you
That's
got
a man.
paid.
Yeah.
You got
You're
paid.
a man now
Right.
because you
You
provide.
provided.
Yeah.
You provided.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, that I did my job. You know, they come in and so you can have a dad in the home and not really experience having your dad present.
Yeah. What makes you a man is not what you make,
Right.
how strong you are, or how non-emotional you are. I think, and you know, I think what makes you a man more is when you actually accept the responsibility of it, of a father, as a man, as a husband, you know, as a leader. Then you understand the responsibility, because when you understand the responsibility, you know what to take care of. And it's not like I'm like my wife. She said, I felt the same way. I was like, look, we had our kids. It's not about me. But that happened 10 years after my kids were born. I was selfish. I was. And I never took care of my kids.
Yeah.
I was there. I provided.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
But
wasn't there.
there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Wow.
And so because of that, that was like the toughest thing I could ever take. I can't get those years back.
Yep.
But now I'm living, man, these kids get the best of me every aspect. And again, I'm not like my wife said at the end of that podcast, well, I'm not perfect. She's not. Don't let see think I'm perfect.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of things she says and does that, you know, only God can help her with. And, you know,
Right.
one thing I love about her, she never takes it out on me. She's never thrown it in my face. She had every right. She's like, you ain't no man. What kind of man? She's never once did that to me. All my other girlfriends did
Yeah.
that. You know,
And that's why those ones are not your wife.
that's why they're not. You
Right.
know, and then that's the reason why, because God knew what needed to change me. You know, that's the experience of like I think I've had in just that, man. Like again, it's the patience that He has for me, and that, you know, and it cost me. When you figure out, you know, it's no longer about you.
Right.
When it's no longer about you, then you know there's a price in that. So you have to die. And again, that's what God's word says. Deny yourself, crucify your flesh, and come follow me. And I think that's what a lot of men can't or don't want to do or think they've done, you know. So I don't know. I won't speak from experience. I'm not perfect, man.
Right.
I have problems. Easy right now, I can easily just stop all this and just be that guy.
Right. We all can.
Because
Right.
it takes work.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes
To whom
work.
much is given, much is required. It's one of my hardest scripture that I love, that I study, you know, Luke 12:48 is just my thing. To whom much is given, much is required. And that's in every area of our lives. And like you said, we could easily just say, well, I'll just live how I want to live, because it's still a choice, right? You can,
Right.
I don't think that I could ever fully live in that life because I know too much of God to live any other way. But even in that, it'll probably feel good for a little bit, right? But really you can't, because it's not who you were called to be. And just even the part you were saying, like about the misconception about a man, how a man's supposed to be, and I love how you're just being vulnerable in that and saying, okay, there's things that I don't really know what it looks like to be a man. I need to know and ask God, like, what does it look like to be the head of your household? What does it look like to be a father to my kids, what they need, you know? Because what does society say about us today for men and women? Self-care. And I'm all for self-care. But do you, boo?
Your truth. My
Yes.
truth. It's like, no.
And we've gotten into that even as believers. Like, I'm just going to do me. And it
Believers
don't matter.
are the worst at that.
Yeah.
They think they have a justification. God's called me and, you know, I think I'm this. And it's like, I don't know, you found your sweet spot. Your comfortable is good enough spot. You know, we're not called to be comfortable here. I'm not. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
You know, I get irritated with pastors that just say, you know what, you know, if you want to start a feeding ministry, that's your calling. You know, that's your calling and not mine. You go partner. I'll support you, but that's your call. It's like, no, man, you're just a lazy dude, man. You got your thing. You know, and to me, that's like, no, man, just because you're a pastor does not mean you don't go do the same stuff that just the sheep. I don't know. I what God's people is called to do, you know. I really do believe just because you preach as a pastor every Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday night, you're not going to heaven just because of that. You know, you're not. You know, and I do believe if you're not building, I'm a person now. I want to build this, and we have, and we are. You know, but me myself, I want people to say, no, let's. Jose, he's doing it. He didn't have a pastor. He didn't title on him. He didn't have a building. He didn't have this. And again, I found out the impact I had that God used me for when I got sick.
Yeah.
And I thought everyone didn't like me. I thought everyone hated. I thought because of me, I guess self-hurt, the pity. I was like, man. But now God showed me, boy, this is what I've been preparing for.
Wow.
You know, now you know. Now you see it.
Victory in the preparation.
Come on. You know, and it takes time. Takes time, you know. And again, you talked about that one guy that prophesied over our life, the patience. 13, 14, 16 years. Man, seriously, 13 years, 14 years ago, that was spoken over us.
Wow.
And I didn't see it. It's only until these past year or two, we're walking in it. Now we're starting to take these steps and we're like, oh, that is true. This is true. There are, again, there's like 3 more things that got to happen. And I'm hooking y'all up, you know, your boy coming through. But the thing is that's, and again, that to me, that's the, I got to trust God.
Yeah.
I got to have faith.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, man, our faith gets shook, and guess what? That's fine. That's normal. That's okay.
I think
So
it's
don't feel like you have a problem. Don't feel like, oh, my faith is shook. No, that's good. That's supposed to happen. You know, there's got to be a resistance.
Yeah.
And the way that we get resistance,
a
you get
trying.
stronger.
There has to be a trying.
You know,
I remember hearing someone say, you know, don't trust faith that has not been tested.
let's go. That's real.
Don't trust faith that has not been tested, because you can say to someone all this faith that they have, and they've never been through one thing.
Yeah.
They've never had to. Jesus went through stuff. Like, how is it? So
he got betrayed. He got lied about.
Spit
he got
on,
crucified. He got punched. He got kicked. Crown of thorns. He got, man. I mean,
like, if you're and
live
your
like
test
Christ
is to die like Christ.
Yeah, live like Christ. That's what's trippy. Is like, God, how can I live like that? You gotta remember, we're spoiled here in America. We we are not persecuted.
That's another. Yeah, that will give us another.
I'm canceled on Instagram. I'm persecuted.
Yeah,
all these pastors and all these politicians that I call them. You know, it's like you're not persecuted. Yeah, you're not persecuted just because the church of separation, church of state.
Yeah.
You know, you're fighting for your building. If you were doing something in the community, you wouldn't need that building. I hate the fact that that's what these guys run on. You know, they're treating us different because, separation, church and state, and the Christians, this and that. It's like, nah, man, you don't know persecution.
Right.
No,
We
not
don't.
not
You don't.
here.
No,
In
we
the
don't.
United
here.
States, we don't
No.
we don't know what that really.
It's a start because socialism and this and that, and it's like no, you don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
Just because you get pushed back from the community from a few different people because you believe different,
Right.
that's not persecution.
Right.
Man. You don't know. You're not
We
getting
don't.
beheaded in China,
Right.
You know these pastors,
Yeah.
these churches. You know that's
Yeah.
real. But again, what did Paul say? To live is to die. To die is the game, man. But again, I don't want to say it because again, what you say, you know.
Yeah. I know. Well, my shirt, it says there's power in the tongue.
Yeah, I ain't trying to, I'm glad you
Proverbs
wore that.
18:21.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I said this one time. My mother-in-law told me because I was preaching this message. I was like, I welcome the drama. I welcome all that. I welcome the struggle. I ain't afraid of it. I'm preaching. I'm all hyped up. It was a good worship night.
Right.
Boy,
Shook everything
it
out.
came.
It was good.
It came. And I was like, my mother, I was like, you gotta be careful what you say, But honestly, we live in an
That's
age.
good. That's real though.
Yeah, and again, we live in a time where we think we're persecuting, we're not. And I do believe God has built me for it now because I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Again, I love my podcast, man, but I'm still here, dude. I'm still here.
Still
Y'all
here.
wrote me off. Y'all
Wow.
killed me off. Y'all told me this. You said all this. I probably deserved most of it, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
Y'all still stuck in that place where you're living in that defeat. You're living off an old memory of me that you don't want to see
Right.
the growth because you're stuck in that hurt. Again, only hurt people know that hurt.
Right.
And I again, that's what, I want to get on more podcasts and just spread this because your guys' audience, because I talked to one of your other guests, Andrea.
Oh
She
yeah.
was out there, we were out
Yeah.
there waiting, and she was like, I loved your podcast.
Oh, it's-
She says, you were
Yeah.
just like, you had me, and she was just like, she says, that's awesome. And
Right.
she's like, man, she's like, thank you for that. You know,
Yeah.
and it's, to me, that's what I want to, I want God to see, man. You never was, it's not me, it's all God. It's all God. No, man, God used me. I'm proud of that.
Yeah. I heard
Yeah.
Pastor Robert Morris says, to say, oh, no, it's all God. It's God. It's false humility.
Yeah. Man, I was like, yeah.
Because you had to say yes and co-labor
Right.
with God to do what he's called you to do.
Yeah, you had to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they
Use me, God. Guess what? I'll be the front man. But I know, here's the thing. What I think this is what a lot of people don't like about me because they're going to think, again, like I said, isn't he just that one dude? Isn't he just a podcast guy? Who the hell does he think he is? Why is he up here doing this? Everyone's going to know why. It's 'cause, man, that's the power of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Empowerment. Because I can't do this on my own.
That's
I can't.
right.
So I choose to walk in that. And so when people see that, that's why I'm so happy and excited to see where my kids are going to be.
That's so good.
Because
Yeah.
imagine their strength. Imagine what they
Yep.
see. Like if they see me, I know my daughter Lily especially.
Yeah.
She's a one upper. That girl
Yeah.
wants to one up me because she learns quick. And I'm like, damn it, Lily, I hate you, girl. You learn too
She's like,
quick.
I already did this.
Yeah,
this, and
she does my video production, a lot of my editing
Wow.
and stuff, and she's like a heavy hitter girl making $1,500 to $2,000 a month.
Wow.
And she only works 2-3 days.
Wow.
So she makes $2,000 almost in 2-3 days.
Should have called her on our
I know.
She'd be
teach
like,
us some stuff.
she'd be like,
Right.
yeah. And she's real low key. But
Yeah.
again, I didn't make that when I was at 26.
Right.
I didn't make that when I was barely starting out. But again, I cannot wait to see what God used me for them.
That's
Especially my
good.
wife. Especially what God uses for them. And I am bent on new generational start now. I'm building new roots. My last
Yeah.
name's Cruz. Supposed to be, you've known me as Manzano my whole life. Me and mom sold me and my brother's identity for crack. We didn't know. I got my first job at Channel 24. Found out I had 2 names, and the HR was like, "You got 2 identities. We can't hire you." It's like, "Well, what is it?" It's my first time finding out. You can't give me that. We're like, "No." She's like, "Well, it says your legal name is Jose G. Manzano Cruz, and you need to go by Cruz." I was like, "Well, I'm Cruz now. That happened for a reason."
Wow.
So I choose to go by Cruz, and all their names were going to change. I want to start. I love my dad. I love Manzano, but I want a new.
Yeah.
I want new, and I want to. When I die, and should God not come forever, even though it was prepare, God's coming. I want to make sure that my grandkids and great grandkids
Legacy.
know that. Legacy. My daughter Lily is like me. We get real inspirational and quotes, but she told me, we were talking that one night when I was going back to the hospital. She told me, "Dad, you can't die. You can't be like this." She's like, "Because you're gonna be legend." She told me that. I'm like, girl, you know, Mom.
I get cracked.
Yeah. But she's like, no, she says you're going to be legend.
Wow.
You know, and she sees that. She understands the weight of it. All of them do, you know, and they see that. And I think that's what, again, y'all, I didn't get here overnight. I'm 41. I just started growing. I just started growing up like 6 years ago.
Wow.
Seriously, like 36, 35, 36.
It's about right.
You know,
we're
really the women.
Yeah.
My wife, she matured like that when we had our kid, and she was, and that was it. It was like she already knew me. I was like, there, I'm on, man. There. I'm not, man. You a clown, you know. And these men that, you know, clown themselves that way, it's like, I got to look at it through empathy because I was that guy.
That's good.
I think that's why I got stewed up. That's
Yeah.
It was like, y'all shut up, Jose. You're going over my time. You know?
We're like,
yeah. But that's what I'm saying, man. And that's where my heart is at right now, man.
yeah, that's good.
Y'all growing in life, y'all stay growing because it's not ever going to get better. You know, life's always going to hit. Life's not fair. Accept that. When you learn to accept that and you can grow in it, and you got to get great people like you guys, content like this that you guys put on, have me just come take over a pod, you know, because you guys wanted to shoot like your own thing, you know. But again, there's always going to be, there's no rush for this type of content. That's what I love about this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so glad you guys stepped out in this world.
Yeah.
Because you were stuck. You were stuck. You were like, I can't because I'm supposed to have this. I'm supposed to do it in here. Now, girl, this is it.
Yeah.
It really is. You know, you too. It's going to be one of those things where I'll be like, yeah, that actually makes sense. When you see yourself in a year, that makes sense.
Yes.
Why weren't you guys doing that?
I know.
Right?
Right.
And you're like,
we talk about that and letting things and fear and hold us back into just doing what God has called us to do.
Yeah.
And it feels so good.
Yeah, I like that. I like in the Matrix. I'm not saying this world's a Matrix, man. God's not like
Yeah,
God's not he's not the God of confusion.
Yeah.
Right.
But like in the movie The Matrix, like there is no spoon. There is no spoon.
Wow.
There is no spoon. There is no fear. There's none of that when you walk in the authority God's called you.
Amen.
That's why Paul was like, hang me upside down. Peter,
Right?
Peter.
Paul,
He's like, hang me upside
Peter.
down. I don't want to be the same way. That's Jesus. That's the man.
Right.
You know, that's like,
I'm not holy or good enough to be in that.
Yeah.
So do me upside.
Make me on my own. Just
Yeah.
I'm not worthy to die like him, but I'm dying.
But I'm dying.
Yeah.
Man, that's what I want to be. That's what I
Yeah.
want to be. I want to get to that point in my life where God, I want to stand out. And again, it's one of those things that
So good.
who's doing this? Who's teaching this?
Yeah.
Who's preaching this? Who's bringing the real to this? It's not like I found my chapter. I found my cliche message
Right.
Yeah.
you hear all
Yeah.
the time. You know, was that prosperity preaching? You know,
Yeah.
Furtick and all these guys do. Man, it's not it. You know, I speak from the experience that God has a plan for everyone. He has drawn out your life. Whether we feel like, oh, I detour, then I go back on.
Yeah.
Then I missed all these blessings.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
No.
That's so good.
You didn't. God still has it. He loves
That's
you that
right.
much. God's not gonna say, "Well, you walked away from my plan. You don't get
Yeah,
that. You
and
don't
that.
get that.
Oh, wait, let me
you don't
swipe
get
this.
that."
You're like, oh, nope.
No, I want. No, you know, no. God's like, I have everything for you, man. Know that. When you know, oh man, that's what's so beautiful. Is like I know I'm a child of God.
Yeah. No matter what
What?
anybody says.
Yeah.
No matter what they
Even
want to
what-
put on you.
Yeah. No
Right.
matter what they want to put. on you.
And I would say to even level what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
What we
That's
tell
it.
ourselves.
I would say 70-40, man. 70% is self-inflicted.
Wow.
Don't tell
That's good.
yourself. Don't listen to yourself. You know, that's what my wife was like. That's what got me stewed.
Yeah.
It's like, cause she knows she's not perfect, you know, but I think from my point of view as a man, as a woman, I do believe, you know, that is what a woman is, man. The Proverbs 31, woman, right? 31, am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, she
Somewhere
know-
in Proverbs,
yeah,
she's in
somewhere
there.
in
Yeah.
Proverbs.
They save
She's
the best
roaming
for
around the
last.
Proverbs
just,
somewhere.
right there.
Right,
You know?
right there.
Yeah.
But they did save the best for last.
Yeah.
So that's how you remember it.
Yo,
Proverbs
so-
31.
Yeah, so she is that, you know, because again, she had every right, but again, I experienced real love. I saw God's love through that,
Yeah.
and she was able to take on that, on
Yeah.
the weight, and still, just, what did Jesus do? She's not Jesus, but she took on. All right, God says, all right,
No,
love them,
yeah.
love them when they hurt you. Love them when
and
they
that's
do
the
this.
only way we can. We can't love out of our own ability, our own strength. And when we get a revelation of that the only way that I can love someone that I feel doesn't deserve my love or is hurting me is when I love out of his love. Because his love is perfect.
Yep.
His love covers a
Made
multitude of
perfect
sin.
in us. Oh,
Yeah.
my
And it's made
goodness.
perfect in us.
on.
It covers a multitude of sin. It doesn't remember any wrongs. Like only his love can do that. So you're operating in his love when she's able to say, you know what, I choose not to even remember. And it's not because she's like, oh, I just don't want to remember. It's because she actually was loving through Christ.
Come on.
You know, and it's a whole different game. No matter how much you preach or teach or shondo out there, until you truly know how to love out of love of Christ, and you'll feel it because you're like, no, I didn't. That wasn't even me. I wouldn't have loved like that.
You
Right.
know when you'll taste something different.
Right.
Yes,
You know.
your palate. No, yeah,
You're all,
Wait.
What
This
is
is
that?
new.
yeah.
that's good.
You're like, wait, I've had all this other, but this is new. And that's God. That's what God showed me when I died, when I came back to all that. You know, and I think when you know how to reciprocate that love out,
Ooh, I love that word.
Yeah.
you'll know
Yeah.
how, because you're speaking from the experience. Like I said, I knew I experienced God's peace when I died. I was like, I need your peace. You
Yeah.
said peace. Guess what? I experienced your peace. Give me that peace, and I experienced it. So now I know how to talk about that peace.
That's good.
You know, like you guys, you know how to talk from your experiences.
Right.
You know, I pray that every day we grow from our hurt, not speak from hurt.
That's good.
That's it. Don't
I
speak
love
from
that.
hurt, because speak from hurt is flesh. When you walk in the spirit is love, you speak from God's love.
Yeah.
That's why I think. That's why I'm stewed, man. That's
Yeah.
why your boy
Yep.
is.
That's
in.
why we are glad that you decided to take over our podcast. Come on,
Yeah.
you're like, I am VIP. Yeah. What?
He's all, I shall be your next guest and your next
I'm
guest.
part 3, part 4. Expect more. Yeah, I
love
got
it.
bars,
Love.
man. But I want to say, let me say, you guys, I know, man. I'm sorry, I'm taking over, but I'm speaking again. I know when these cameras turn off, I get the same energy. I'm serious. I
Yes,
live
he
like
does.
this. I live like this. I'm gonna tell you guys, if you've gotten this far, hit me up on my DMs. I'll give you $100. That's clickbait. No. But I'm
all,
100%.
where do I click? Where do I click?
Yo, I'm already there.
I'm all, hold on. Where?
Yeah, but I just serious on the real, guys. You know, I love these ladies. They're awesome. You know, their podcast is amazing. You know, glean from them, glean from guests like me, because again, I'm only here because of God's grace and mercy. You're still here for that. Don't let no one tell you different, man. Don't believe your own lie. You're your own problem, and the only way you're gonna find that answer is that's what makes God so amazing and beautiful, because He allows us to see the mirror. You know, and He's a gentleman, not to hold it. He just, I love you, man. Just, I can give you all the cheat codes in life, but you gotta want it. And so I'll tell you guys, you listen, if you've gone this far, just know that God has a big plan for you. This is not cliche. This is real, because we're walking in that plan now. And it took 41 years for me to get here. Guess what? I'm here, and I'm not wasting time, man. You have not lost time. God is,
Right.
He has no time. So He's waiting for you. He's waiting to open up the floodgates. He'll still take care of you. He'll still bless you.
Yes.
Walk in it, man. When you walk in it, you're going to realize, why haven't I been? And then you're going to have a message and
Right.
a story and a heart for people to say, now don't be like me. That's the real. And
so
you
good.
ladies
Yep.
bring that to the table. So,
You.
I mean, I love you guys, man. I know we're gonna
Love you too.
we're gonna stop recording. It's
Yeah.
gonna be like, what do we say now?
I know.
Are we done? All right, I gotta
Right,
go
go.
because it's late. He kept me late,
Yeah,
Jose.
I know.
But
We gotta
I mean,
eat.
legit, you got here like
Hungry.
at 3:30. It's 10. It's like y'all put in an 8-hour day over here again.
I'm all,
With no food.
I
No
worked already.
food.
Bunch of water in a can.
Intermittent fasting. Y'all want to lose weight? No, I want to lose weight.
Mandatory fast.
I know. Didn't know I was going to fast tonight. Okay, but thank you, Lord. Yes.
Keep it down here, though.
Y'all just keep killing it. You guys
Thank
I got your back. Again, I'm glad we're doing this.
Yes.
I'm accepting your prayers, both of you guys.
Yes.
Getting a new studio.
You
and
are getting
Yeah.
that studio. I see it.
We gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Next level. I love you guys. I'll stop.
Love
talking.
you. So VIP podcast,
Yes.
thank you for continuing to listen to us, to subscribe, to share, just being a part of the VIP podcast.
Yeah.
So
Don't forget. Subscribe.
yes. Do
All
your-
right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Facebook. Like. Facebook. Yes. All right.
Bye. Dope. I love it. Now, see, that's what I've been